Over 70% of engine failures I've seen don't come from snapped rods, cracked heads, or seized pistons. They come from oil, specifically bad information about oil. For decades, car owners have been sold a story about synthetic protection, a magical elixir that supposedly lasts forever, prevents wear, and keeps your engine cleaner than new. But beneath that glossy marketing, there's a much dirtier truth. Synthetic oil was meant to revolutionize car care, but somewhere along the line, it became one of the biggest automotive cash cows in history. Mechanics push it, oil brands glorify it, and drivers keep paying more and more without realizing most of what they've been told was designed to sell, not to protect. So today, we're pulling back the curtain. You're about to learn what synthetic oil really does, how it's been twisted into a multi-billion-dollar myth, and why believing the wrong fact about it could quietly destroy your engine from the inside out. Because this isn't just about oil, it's about control, money, and the kind of lies that make ordinary drivers think they're doing the right thing, when in reality, they're being scammed. Let's rewind to the 1970s. Oil prices were skyrocketing, engines were choking under emissions laws, and automakers were desperate for something that could last longer and handle heat. Enter synthetic oil, a man-made lubricant developed for fighter jets. It could survive temperatures conventional oil couldn't dream of. The marketing team smelled blood in the water. Suddenly, synthetic wasn't just a product, it was a miracle. They told drivers it could make engines immortal, extend oil changes indefinitely, and even self-clean. Those phrases spread like wildfire. Mechanics repeated them because customers believed them, and the truth slowly got buried under a mountain of profit. Here's the problem. Every myth had a grain of truth. Synthetic oil does resist breakdown. It does perform better in extreme heat and cold. But the exaggerations, those were the bait, and drivers took it hook, line, and sinker. The first lie is the most dangerous. Synthetic oil lasts forever. No oil lasts forever. Inside your engine, heat, combustion gases, and microscopic metal shavings constantly contaminate it. Synthetic oil resists breakdown better, yes, but it still gets dirty. It still collects soot, fuel vapors, and sludge over time. I've drained engines that looked like tar pits, black sludge oozing out, while the owner proudly told me, "It's okay, I use full synthetic." They thought they were safe. They weren't even close. Here's a simple test anyone can do. Warm up your car, turn it off, wait 30 seconds and pull the dipstick. If the oil is dark brown or smells burnt, it's used up. Synthetic or not, that oil's done its job. Keep running it, and you're running your engine on grit and acid. Mechanics love this myth because it keeps you coming back late. You push your oil too far, the engine starts running rough, and they're right there with a $3,000 repair quote. Now let's talk about one of the most profitable lies. Once you switch to synthetic, you can't go back. That's pure nonsense. I've switched customers' cars back and forth between synthetic and conventional dozens of times. The engine doesn't care. What matters is the grade and specification. If your manual says 5W30, stick with 5W30. Whether it's synthetic or conventional doesn't change your bearings, seals, or pistons. But here's the real trick. This myth locks people into expensive service packages. Quick lube shops use it to upsell. You've gone synthetic now, you can't mix it, so you pay double every time for the rest of that car's life. I once had a customer nearly panic because a shop accidentally topped off his oil with conventional. He thought his engine was doomed. I told him the truth. He wouldn't even notice. So if you've ever been told never switch back, now you know. That's a myth built to make you pay, not protect your car. Then there's the fear tactic. Synthetic oil causes leaks in older engines. You've probably heard that one too, and technically it sounds believable. Drivers switch to synthetic, and suddenly they see oil spots on the driveway. But here's what's really happening. Synthetic oil doesn't cause leaks, it reveals them. Older engines have dry, brittle seals. Conventional oil often leaves behind a layer of sticky residue that masks tiny cracks. Synthetic oil's detergents clean that gunk away. When the buildup disappears, the truth shows up. Leaks that were already there. I had a customer bring in his '96 Chevy, swore up and down the new oil made it leak. The seals were rock hard like plastic. Synthetic didn't break them. It just stopped hiding the problem. If you're switching an older car to synthetic, clean your engine first. Wipe the seals. Look for wet edges or baked-on crud. If it's already sweating oil, the synthetic will just tell the truth faster. Here's where synthetic oil actually earns its reputation. Cold starts are brutal. When you turn your key on a freezing morning, the oil in your pan is thick like honey. It takes several seconds to reach your bearings and lifters, and in those seconds, metal rubs metal. That's where most engine wear happens, right at startup. Synthetic oil flows faster at low temperatures. A 0W20 synthetic can pump easily at 20 degrees Fahrenheit below zero, while conventional oil moves like glue. That means less friction, less scuffing, and smoother starts. But here's what no one tells you. Even with synthetic, one wrong move during a cold start can shred your engine. Revving immediately after startup is a killer. The oil needs a few seconds to circulate, no matter what kind you use. So yes, synthetic wins the Cold War, but it's not magic. It's just chemistry doing its job. If cold is the silent killer, heat is the loud one. Under heavy load, towing, racing, stop-and-go traffic, conventional oil starts breaking down around 250 to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Synthetic oil can handle 300 degrees Fahrenheit and beyond before losing viscosity. That's why turbocharged engines, which can reach 450 degrees Fahrenheit at the bearings, depend on synthetic. Turbos spin over 100,000 IRPM. They're literally powered by exhaust heat. Conventional oil burns, turns to carbon, and clogs those tiny oil passages, a process called coking. Synthetic resists it. That's the difference between a turbo that dies at 60,000 miles and one that still pulls strong at 150,000. Here's a mechanic's tip. After a hard drive, don't shut your engine off immediately. Let it idle for 30 to 60 seconds. That allows oil to cool the turbo before it stops spinning. Synthetic helps, but even it can't protect a red-hot turbine that suddenly loses oil flow. So yes, synthetic dominates under heat, but that's not the scam. The scam is how they use this fact to sell fear. Oil companies and service chains discovered something powerful: fear sells. They took genuine benefits, like heat resistance, and twisted them into sales scripts. Suddenly, every driver needed full synthetic, even if their car was built for conventional. I've watched dealerships push $120 synthetic oil changes on 10-year-old sedans that barely left the neighborhood. They throw out buzzwords like protection package and factory approved to make you feel irresponsible if you say no. In truth, most cars can run perfectly fine on a good conventional or synthetic blend, but the word synthetic lets them triple the price and call it premium. Here's the math. Synthetic oil costs maybe $10 to $15 more per jug wholesale, yet you're paying $60 to $80 more at the counter. That's not maintenance, it's margin. Let's strip away the lies. What does synthetic oil really do? It holds viscosity longer. It flows faster in the cold. It resists sludge and varnish better. And it stays stable under extreme heat. That's it, and that's enough. But even the best oil can't save an engine with skipped changes or cheap filters. Every mile you drive adds contaminants. Fuel vapors, dust, and moisture mix in. The oil filter eventually clogs. And when it does, dirty oil bypasses straight through. I've cut open filters so packed with grit, they rattled like maracas. The owners bragged about going 15,000 miles. Because it's synthetic, they didn't realize that synthetic oil doesn't make the filter last longer. If you really want to know how long your oil can go, send a sample to a lab. They'll tell you the truth. But for most daily drivers, stick with 5,000 to 7,500 miles. Your engine and wallet will thank you. Another myth that refuses to die. Synthetic oil is too expensive. Sure, the upfront price is higher, but if you change oil twice a year with synthetic instead of 3 or 4 times with conventional, you're already saving money. More importantly, you're protecting against the kind of wear that leads to $4,000 rebuilds. I've seen it firsthand. Drivers who tried to save $20 on oil ended up paying thousands for new bearings or piston rings. Synthetic isn't luxury, it's insurance. Think of it like this. You can buy cheap shoes every few months, or one good pair that lasts for years. Which costs more in the end? The same applies to your car. Synthetic oil doesn't just reduce repairs. It keeps resale value higher and helps engines reach 200,000 plus miles with less stress. So when someone tells you synthetic is too pricey, remember, what's really expensive is neglect. Here's where everything comes together. The real scam isn't synthetic oil itself. It's how the industry uses it to manipulate drivers. They turned a good product into a fear-based upsell. They trained customers to believe switching back would kill their engine. That leaks meant disaster, and that more expensive always meant better. None of that is true. The real goal? Control. When you don't understand what's under your hood, You'll pay whatever they tell you, and that's exactly how the industry likes it. But now you know better. You know synthetic oil isn't the villain or the hero. It's just a tool, and like any tool, it's only as smart as the person using it.